Spooky, established 1995, horror punk rock. My darling Dan.
Those eyeballs you ate earlier.
I was a mortician for 5 years. I have seen many things being a mortician. I've heard things, I have had things play tricks on my mind.
Now, caso cat, you've entered into your own terrible tenebrae tales to horrible Halloween noises, sending shivers down your shuddering spine, spiraling your mind into complete madness. Greetings in such disaster. I am Count Cat here to bring forth more hell to you all for another episode of Castle Cats. Tonight, we have legend of all legend of monsters. They've creeped and stunned audience for decades, meow. Boils and ghouls, freaks and geeks, punks and skins, the real deal night and day. We present to you Mike Monster of the Spooky.
Thank you for coming out here to be on Castle Cat tonight. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for letting me be here tonight.
The Spooky have been around a great deal of time and still bring full force terror to the stage. Tell me about the beginning. Did it start with death?
Well, I think it was about in 1994 I had kind of the blueprint of it. Previously I've been in like punk bands and hardcore bands, maybe like a speed metal band, and it was just all about political this, political that, and you know, I'm not a political person. I'm not the guy up there to say I know everything about politics. I've always been into collecting horror movies and comic books and knick-knack Halloween things since I was a kid, so, you know, I was like, well, you know, might as well just start me up something that I love to do. And of course you already had bands that were doing that previous. There was only a couple of bands doing it. And we kind of like started doing it ourselves, and I just formed the band, and it just came about. You know, I started thinking of names, and top of my head I said the Spooky, and I'm gonna start making cheesy songs and stuff about horror B-movies, which many bands did, but there wasn't as many back then. Until now, there's a lot. I mean, we were doing it, and it started, you know, we started playing around in '95. So it was, that's basically how I just wanted to do it. It makes me happy. It's like a hobby for me. I love it. And that's basically where the origins came from.
Scream, she screams for her life to the beat. Time, in time will the full moon rise bleed. Where did all of this go wrong?
What are some shows in particular that stand out to you personally?
We get really happy when we play with, especially back when we started out on the Disaster Records label with Dwayne Peters and US Bombs. We really loved playing with our old friends back on the label, like, you know, US Bombs, Smog Town, Stitches. Back then we had Static 99. There are a few bands that aren't around anymore, but those are the fun times, and some aren't around anymore, and we're like kind of like one of the last to keep going. But those were really fun times for me, and I miss all those guys. But as far as one of my highlights as big shows, I would say the Addicts. We had a great time with the Addicts. Other obscure, or other like underground bands like China White, or we got Love Canal, or just recently, I mean, I like everything, so it's like old friends of mine, even The Offspring asked us to open up for them, and that was out to a sold-out show, where there was kids that were just looking at something that we presented that was hard, fast, and just old school, in-your-face, fucking hardcore punk. And we got a lot of respect out of it because the kids didn't know what to do, because they're, you know, it's a different type of music than The Offspring. But they invited us, that was fun. And, what other shows? I would say, we played our last show with the Mentors before El Duce died. He died the next day. I miss El Duce. That was fun with the Mentors.
Watching many musical acts and bands come throughout time, what do you think of this? Has horror and the music gotten better or worse, or perhaps it's about the same?
I mean, they used to call it ghoul rock back in the day, or death rock, or, you know, whatever. Horror punk, actually we were saying in 94, 95, and you didn't really hear that back then. And then it just became now it's a big genre. And to me, I think it should stay the same old kind of old school punk rock way of what horror punk is. To me nowadays, it's most of the bands are pretty much metal, and they claim to be horror punk, and it's more of a metallic sound. I refuse to go kind of, if I'm going to call it a horror punk band, I wouldn't go that extreme to make it so evil to have metal riffs in it. But you know, we have some of our thrash songs, we have some of our, you know, upbeat songs, but I think it's kind of gotten a little, it's lost its way. We'll see where it goes from there, I guess. When the Fenders and the Olympic back in the day, you know, they'd throw in punk shows with, there would be all different types of bands. You know, you had 45 Grave and DOA together and Fear. I mean, it was something. Now they kind of put you in that little corner. But I think nowadays we're getting a little bit more respect from people and they're seeing that, you know, we're sticking to our guns, and you know, hopefully we get respect in the end. You know, however how long this band goes. You know, I've almost threw in the towel a couple times, wanting to do something more dark and evil and more heavier. Which on the side, I think in the future I still might do it, because I just love doing those types of things. So we'll see where it goes from there, and maybe, you know, a different genre of crowd, and the metalheads or whoever would appreciate us more than the punks do. You know, you know, punk rock is they judge you a lot nowadays, and you know, they look at you with your white face and you're black, and they will call you goth or call you whatever, you know. But yeah, we're basically a punk band. You know, we want to be respected as a punk band, and hopefully we'll get, you know, that respect in the end.
In the beginning, it was like, you know, every fucking weirdo with aggression that wanted to, you know, make some fucked up music came together. Mm-hmm. It was like a unified thing, and now it's more like a clique, or like, it's like you're in fucking high school or something. Mm-hmm. Man, what can you tell us about We Have a Reason? Is this your latest release?
As a matter of fact, I got a present for you there.
Severed the eyeballs from my ex-wife, I hope. Ah, even better.
I ate those. Here's a shirt from from us.
Excellent.
This is the We Have Risen. This is our latest album. Well, it's a re-release.
Re-release. Alright.
It's a re-release, but with 3 extra bonus songs on it that we never released. It was on SOS Records for quite a while, until SOS Records went down the tubes. SOS Records had bands like They Exploited, Bad Manners, every band you can think of. And then we hopped on Hostage Records, and then we hopped on a newer label, which we're having problems right now with, and they're the ones that re-released this. But we're now in progress of a new one. I think it's the best one that I've written, and it's called Horror Punk. So basically just horror punk.
Straightforward.
Straight horror punk. Calling it that, and we're working on it now. Hopefully it'll be out by the end of this year. We're having problems with 2 labels that are fighting over it, trying to get the files down, and it's just become a nightmare. And I gotta lay vocals down for it, and the music's already written or laid down already. It's just about who's going to take what, who's going to take the CDs to put out, who's going to take the albums to put out, and I'm getting just a fucking ping pong back and forth crap that I have to deal with. And sometimes you just wish you had a manager to do that, because I don't want to deal with it. But I'm sitting here pulling my hair out about it, and just sometimes I just want to go, I'm just going to just put it out myself.
What do you think separates a ghoul from a non-ghoul?
The non-ghoul doesn't really have an appetite for stealing old ladies' jewelry and eating rotted old brains, maybe.
What's your take on life, death, or anything in between?
I was a mortician for 5 years. You know, they don't call you an undertaker or a mortician anymore. They call you first call, which is kind of lame. But I have seen many things being a mortician. I've heard things. I have had things play tricks on my mind. If you want to call them things, you don't believe in those types of things. They're real. The elements are real. Those negative, positive energies are real. I've had to pick up people off their floors next to their beds. I've had to pick people up on the living room floor, where you can just feel. Some people are more delicate with things, more. What would you say? You have to be a certain person to feel these kind of energies around life and death. Because if you don't, and if you don't understand it, that mortician job, which I did, is not for you. Death to me is basically the end of pretty much who knows what's going to be a beginning. I've seen things, like I've said, of spirits kind of playing tricks on me in crematories, in funeral homes, or I've sat there and I've had to fix their faces up for viewings. I've had to reach inside their torsos to pull out defibrillators, and basically they were my friends. It's all I did every day. And I drove around with them in the van, had like 4 bodies stacked in the back, and I talked to them. Put on some music, aside from the gases and everything, you got to smell it, coming out of their orifices. It's really bad, especially when you got a hangover. But respecting the dead is something that you really have to do, and if you don't make jokes about it, it can really mess you up. Joke about the dead. Joke about like they're your friends. Don't be scared of it. Embrace it. I worked there for about 5 years until my music got in the way, and they got kind of upset because I went out to Europe. I had a chance to go out and be a hired gun for a couple of big bands out in Europe and stuff. Which I will not be a hired gun anymore. Don't do it. I'm tired of it. It's just having like 4 girlfriends. So I had to stop doing that because I'd rather go to Europe and been to Romania, Russia, China, Serbia, Paris, France, Germany. And I've seen a lot of cool things in my time. And when I go out to those places, at that time period, I remember leaving the mortuary and going out there, and all I had was their memory of my mortuary and just seeing all these amazing things, and it just came together like that. It was pretty awesome. Seeing the graveyards where Jim Morrison was buried, having a beer next to his grave. It was death. You need to have a certain sensitivity for those spirits to be around you, to show you. Or if you don't, then it can scare the shit out of you. Some people don't. People don't understand it. People don't understand what I do. They laugh at you, or they mock you, or they call you Blue Danzig, or they call you Doyle, or it's just kind of like, sorry, I've been into this shit since I've been 5, 6 years old collecting this stuff, and nobody puts a name and tag on All Hallows Eve, Halloween, whatever you want to call it. The Americans want to call it. Europeans started it, paganism. But it takes a certain person like you yourself to be into this type of thing. People don't get it. It's a way of life for some of us. It's very, it expresses our art. It really expresses my art. I can do a lot with it because, every time I go to, like, I say Monster Palooza, like we were talking about earlier, and I bring back, an eerie magazine or a creepy magazine that I used to collect when I was a kid. I am that kid again, I'm like, wow. You don't get it, man. Yeah, it's a joy. And for some people, like, their whole life every day is Black Flag. Their whole life every day is TSOL or Circle Jerks. They're mine too. But see, that's why I did this whole horror punk thing, because it's something that I love to do and to express. Not only horror movies I write about, I write about personal things that happen to me. It may happen to you too, but you don't believe it. But life and death, yeah, that's something, that's the unknown. We don't know the next step or where it's going to go. But as for now, we celebrate it.
Besides yourself, have you had any interesting paranormal experiences?
Working in the mortuary, and it traveled all over the place. I had to pick up bodies from different counties, different cities. Or then I'd have to take, of course, the body to the coroner for homicides or suicides or whatever for them to take pictures of. This one's pretty fun. On Halloween night, I do not work on Halloween night or any jobs. So any jobs I tell them it's my holiday. Hey, Easter's your holiday, Christmas is your holiday. I'll work on it, but hey, it's Halloween. I'm not working. I got shit to do. Okay. Anyway, pouring down rain. I think it was West Covina. I was picking up a patient at a mental hospital. She had died on her bed. She looked like she was about over 6 foot. She had one white eye, gray hair, heavy as hell, and there was bars on the window everywhere. And pouring rain, like I said, outside. And I didn't have my partner with me that day because he usually helps me out. That helps me out, like pull the body on the gurney and put it into the van. But I needed to go out that night because it was Halloween night. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I got to pull this fucking body, get her. So I did all my power. I got her on there, man. Pushed her out. You got to put the cover over their head. Pouring rain. Put her back in the van. I start off. I'm on the freeway. It's coming down. It's coming down. We got, I don't know, Agatha back there. Who knows? I forget her name. And all of a sudden, on my dashboard, a billow of smoke just puffs up. And my windshield wipers die. And it's pouring, and and I had to pull off to the side of the freeway. Didn't know what the hell was going on. All of a sudden I heard a thump. I looked behind me and her leg is popped out and hitting the side of the door. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
She's getting her kicks in the last minute.
Yeah. But we all know if you work in the mortuary business, there's spasms, there's gas release, whatever. But this was pretty hardcore.
The smoke, that's what the interesting part.
Yeah. And then I was like, wouldn't it be rad if all of a sudden she bust out of them stirrups and just was a zombie with that white eye. And I was running down the street while it's pouring rain, and she's like, and I was thinking that in my head. That's how sick and morbid I am. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And I was like, shit, what am I gonna do, man? It's pouring rain. And all of a sudden, I was like, I tried to turn on my windshield wipers on again. Whew, they went back on, man. I was like, oh, yeah, get to go home for Halloween, yeah. Drove over to the crematory where she was going to get ashed. And that was it. And I went home and I told that story to everybody at the bar, and everybody was just kind of like, yeah, okay, Mike, sure.
Never trust the stiff in the back of your car. They should be in front of you between your legs.
Then there was another time where I had brought an old man into the crematory, and it was what year that was. It don't matter. I brought him in, and he had this sweater, nice, finely knitted sweater on. And that's a nice little, sweater. You gotta check their toe tags and everything, make sure they're okay. You put them in the refrigerator system. Okay, boom. Right off to get another body. The wife calls the mortuary, and the mortuary calls me and goes, we need for you to get that body back down. Because the wife had knitted him that sweater, she wants it back. I said, okay, no problem. And before you put the bodies in the refrigerated system, you always have to write your mortuary name, the date you died, the date you put them in here, the whole thing. And I remember doing it. I remember writing it. I don't know. Maybe it was one of them days, I don't remember. But you got a whole catacomb of bodies. And they're all in cardboard boxes with different mortuary names on them, different dates. And so I had to go back in there, and I was just like looking around, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the guy. And finally I just looked up at all the boxes, except for one box on the top. It didn't have anything on it. These are little cardboard coffin boxes that they're in. So you have to get the lift. You got to pull them. I go, what? Pull them down. I go, why isn't this one written on? And I was in there, and it was him. And I was like, wait a minute.
You knew you fucking wrote it down.
I knew I
now
fucking
gone.
wrote it. And that kind of like fucked with me. And I took the sweater off of him, and then all of a sudden I get a tap on my back. I went, someone was in there with me. It was the one of the, we call them the pyros, the guys that burn the bodies there.
All right.
And the guy that I knew there. I'm like, man, don't you fucking do that to me again, dude. He's like, what happened? And I told him, I go, this, I wrote it. He goes, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't believe you. And I go, no, I'm serious, dude. I wrote it. And that kind of messed with me for a while. Like, it was basically saying, the guy from his grave was telling his wife, I'm up here, get the sweater up here. Or I'm going to be lost with all these bodies, because I would not have known where it was. And that was another time. 3, 4, 5 in the morning, I got to go and pick up these people. Even when I'm drinking at the bar. Or, they could have made a movie out of me, The Drunken Mortician, I swear. And I could drive with one eye open. That was great. You would hear sounds. You open up these crematory, like huge warehouse things, and it's pitch black, and you have to run to the decoder so the decoder doesn't go off the alarm, and it's black. You have to run across this big room, and you hear. Pressing on into the code, wrong code. You hear things, you feel things. Mortuaries and crematories at 4 or 5 in the morning, especially 3 in the morning too, because it's really creepy. It's really, something's going on, because you know it.
Well, that's like the bewitching hour.
The real witching hour at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, your body temperature drop and all of that.
It was interesting, and then they say the 3 was the 3 o'clock was the hour of Christ's crucifixion, and then 3 is the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
The Trinity, yeah. There's in a lot of religions too, the threes, the triads.
And the demons come out to mock the crucifixion. I love telling that story to people sometimes. They're like, I didn't know that, you're scaring me. But I was like, hey, if you believe in any of that Bible stuff, I think it's a great fairy tale. But as far as that's in your mind when those things happen. But as far as the spirits and elements and stuff, there's positive and negative energies for sure, I think.
Any last words, midnight snack recipes, words of wisdom or curses for the viewers?
I do a lot of artwork. This is one of the artworks, pieces that I have on the shirt. I do all my artwork for the spooky. I also sell them on the side. Any type of creepy, not normal type thing you want drawn, I draw it for you. I also have a taco cart called Monster Realm Tacos you can see on Facebook. And I do come to you. I got my own aiolis, I got my own meats, my own seasonings, vegan choice as well. Tacos. I go all over the place and I set up and hang out, drink beers with everybody. Always carry a cross when you come see me and him, because then you'll be able to say that you were scared.
Also, I will laugh at you if you bring a cross, because the only way to carry a cross is invertedly.
Also, keep the punk scene alive. It's all about keeping the scene alive. Everybody, commuting together and putting these great shows together, keeping the music alive. These little shows this guy does, it's great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for being here.
And hopefully everybody can make it out.
Check out the Spookies. We have risen in the rubber tunes on the interspiderweb. And stay tuned inside out for more Castle Cat and episodes, or not episodes, but a fucking movie coming out. Tales from the Cat.